Don't even talk to me about no Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino. My God, his whole life is just to own the libs. I'm going to own you libs. That's what I'm going to do. Donald Trump is just a reaction to a Bernie Sanders democratic socialism revolution that never happened. They're reacting to a revolution that never happened. And by doing that, they're going to be over the top. And then that's going to cause the damn revolution. Oh, man. Oh, Dan Bongino. This is a Grok roast of Dan Bongino. What a guy. What a guy. Dan Bongino, he's a former Secret Service. He's former NYPD agent turned podcast warrior, swinging his microphone like it's a baton at a riot. Dan Bongino's got the energy of a guy who chugs Red Bulls and patriotism for breakfast and then yells at the mirror about the damn libs for an hour to warm up his vocal cords. That's his hate hour he takes. His takes, Dan Bongino's takes, are so hot they can melt the ice caps he swears aren't even melting. Dan's the kind of dude who would call himself a common sense conservative while ranting about conspiracies so wild they'd even make a tinfoil hat blush. I bet Dan Bongino sleeps with a gun under his pillow and a copy of the Constitution taped to his chest, just in case the deep state tries to sneak in and steal his freedom. Keep fighting the good fight, Dan Bongino. Somebody's got to be the loudest parrot in the echo. Dan Bongino. Somebody's got to be the loudest parrot in the echo chamber. All right. Let's get Dan Bongino again. He got. This guy's like a walking infomercial for tactical gear and righteous indignation. Picture Dan Bongino pacing his studio, veins popping, yelling about socialism like it's hiding in his protein shake. Dan Bongino is the human equivalent of a car alarm that won't shut off, blaring about crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe long after everybody's left the parking lot. Dan Bongino's got that ex-cop swagger, acting like he's still guarding the White House instead of just guarding his audience from nuanced thought. I bet Dan Bongino thinks compromise is a code word for treason and facts are just liberal hugs. He's too tough to accept. Keep on screaming into that microphone, Dan Bongino. You're the patron saint of people who think volume equals victory. Anybody want to listen to Cash Patel? Okay, me neither, but let's try to.
Why are you not investing?
It's our patriotic duty.
No, seriously. Why are you not investing?
Don't know seriously me advertisement.
Manhunt, and we will find you, and we will decide your end state, not you. We will uphold the Constitution. We will uphold ourselves to the Constitution. The men and women at the FBI, I have your back because you have the backs of the American people. You will be held to the same high standard. Any deviation from that standard will not be tolerated at this Federal Bureau of Investigation. The men and women at the FBI who make us safe deserve better, and they are going to get it with our leadership and your support.
So that's Cash Patel saying he's going to uphold the Constitution, such as the 14th Amendment, Section 3. No person shall be a senator, representative, elector of president or vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who haven't previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such a disability. Have they removed that disability against any of these January Sixers? So January Sixers, they're not allowed to run for Congress.
100,000 people died of CCP, fentanyl overdose, and heroin. 17,000 homicides. Violent crime is out of control. We cannot have a United States of America where that is acceptable.
I agree with that, Cash. I mean, my God, that's ridiculous. I agree. I agree, Cash Patel. You got one. You got one. I got.
And I don't really fully believe it yet. I hope to, but
he doesn't believe that he's the FBI director yet. But then somebody said, "Believe it," and it was merriment. Lots and lots of merriment was had by all.
Put me in this position. What a roller coaster ride it has been. I do know this. We are in this room together because you guys have a love of country that is truly inspirational.
I may not know much.
Everywhere we go.
But I know you all love this country.
You see civil servants. You see warriors. You see attorneys. You see great husbands and fathers and mothers.
Civil servants.
I'm here because of God. I'm here because of my family, and I'm here because of my friends. And you're literally in this room.
It's mostly God. Isn't it God that actually picked you?
My sister, Nisha, and my nephew, Aryan, flew in from London. What a ride we have been on. What a courageous warrior and leader he has been. And the
Dan Bongino, he's as
to lead the FBI is
crooked as Cash Patel's face.
That's a General Bondi. That sounds pretty freaking cool. Pam, wow.
That sounds freaking cool.
Wow.
Pam, I just want to tell you,
first and foremost,
I love you,
President Trump, and I just want to thank him. I know he's not here in the room right now, but what a ride we have been on.
He's going to thank God second.
What a courageous warrior and leader he has been.
Do you want to hear any Dan Bongino? Yes, it is about this. We're going to give Dan Bongino 1 minute to defend himself. Let's see here. Let's get a good one. Let's see. All this new stuff, man. Let's see. Dan Bongino spouts off. Let's see if that comes up with anything. Spouts off 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 40 hours ago, 50 minutes. I want something old. Goodness gracious. Okay, fine. Let's see if this goes to anything, and then maybe it'll go to
this
something.
This is how my dad got a flat belly at 60s.
I am not going to watch.
This is day
I'm
17
closing my eyes.
doing nothing but this chair workout challenge.
The chair workout challenge, huh? Oh, great. One of these newscasts where it's just the music and a bunch of shit I got to read. I ain't trying to read. I was elected to lead, not to read. Secret Service was sleeping.
We're going to start off this forum in here.
Dan Bongino's viral grilling of U.S. lawmakers.
Experts.
Here we go. You ready?
Bob Good.
Thank you for doing this. Sound okay? Can you hear me back there? Great. Fantastic.
Everybody can hear me?
Listen, let's just get right to the point.
You can hear me,
this was
right?
An apocalyptic security failure. A man was murdered in front of his family. 3 people were shot on live television, including President Trump, and the head who came within 2 millimeters of having his head explode on national television in front of millions of people. There's no sugarcoating it. It's no time for BS. Unfortunately, as Congressman Crane and Mill.
So he's talking about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Now, in Costilla County, I had 9 people. I had 9 attempts, or 8 attempts, 8 or 9 attempts on my life. 39 shots total. I added them all up. 9 times. People were driving by. Did some shooting. 9 different times. And hell, that's the thing that made him, the president. That got him elected president. All it got me was, more anxiety. And what did they do to confront that threat? Well, Thomas Crooks, the guy that was shooting, they blew his head up. They blew his head off. And so therefore, since justice is eye for an eye, those people that had drove by my house 8 or 9 times, shot 39 shots, I would have had every justification in the world to shoot back. But with a corrupt judicial system, it's like, will the people understand? Will the judge and the DAs, will they understand? Or will they just nab me and then throw me in jail and throw my life away for the rest of my life because I did what God commanded me to do? I did what was common sense. I did what was just, equal and exact justice. 8 or 9 times, someone tried to shoot at me when I was in Costilla County. When I was in Costilla County. Colorado. You think Ann Kelly gives a shit? You think Alonzo Payne gave a shit? You think Marco Gonzalez gives a shit? And then hell, Susie Lucero and Victor Hummel, they don't even work for the county anymore. Then there was also that Brandon. There was a Brandon guy that, he don't work for the county anymore. So it's just interesting, the hypocrisy. It's interesting, the hypocrisy. People are so fucked up and disgusting. Oh my God, they almost did something to the rich and powerful. This is the shit that regular working class poor people, homeless people have to go through all the fucking time. And then not only do they have to worry about defending themselves, if they successfully defend themselves, then they're going to have to deal with the damn corrupt judicial system that's going to try to say that they did something wrong.
Both indicated the story seems to have been vanquished to the phantom zone of media coverage. It's amazing how we're still talking about JFK's assassination, but nobody seems to want to talk about President Trump being shot in the head on national television, despite the fact that we have no answers. So
we do have an answer. The guy that shot at him is dead and gone. He's dead and gone. Who shot and killed JFK? There's a second gunman on the grassy knoll. We've never figured that out. That's the reason why we're talking about that. Who killed MLK? Who killed Robert Kennedy? Are we ever going to figure any of this stuff out? Because the truth matters. You can't get objective justice unless you know the objective truth.
I have 5 minutes, so I want to keep it quick, and I want to make 3 points. I worked in the Secret Service for 12 years. I loved it. I worked with some really amazing men and women who gave everything. I mean, a couple of them literally gave everything. I know guys who've gotten bizarre diseases overseas, like chikungunya fever and protection operations. Everybody gave a little bit of something in the Secret Service, and it was a real honor to say I was part of it. But they have 3 institutional problems, I believe, in the macro will help us get to the bottom of how this...
He's got this vein just like coursing through his head. He can't just be like, hello, everybody. He can't just say, hello, everybody. He's got to be like, hi, everybody. All right, let's get down to brass tacks, okay? I'm here to mean business, and here's 3 points I outlined.
Secret Service apocalyptic failure won't happen again. First, they have a technology problem. The joke in the Secret Service, which is just sadly no longer funny when I was there.
When it comes to the apocalypse, it's either revolution or apocalypse, right? You keep saying apocalyptic. The apocalypse wasn't ushered in. You didn't have 4 horsemen on...
And it wasn't funny then either.
A pale horse.
They rely on yesterday's technology tomorrow. Think about that. Yesterday's technology tomorrow. Everything from computer systems that waste agents' times, filling out time and attendance records they were doing, to Congressman Crane and I discussing the fact that they only implemented slings, a technology as old as the wheel, about, 5 or 6 years into my...
Time and attendance. You know, when I'm in charge, nobody under my dominion will have to clock in to work.
Time in the Secret Service.
We're modernizing.
Which is embarrassing. The weaponry was old. Everything was old. These are things I would have talked about sooner if they didn't create a security crisis, and I obviously didn't want to air them publicly. Now you're seeing what happens when you don't have a drone up at a site you could have bought for $39.99 on Amazon. Second, another adage in the Secret Service, you've heard even the new acting director discuss, is the more with less approach. There is no...
Drones are only $40 on Amazon? I need to get myself a drone.
More with less. There's less with less, okay? The Secret Service more with less approach only works if you produce more. That's how capitalism works. You produce a flat screen TV that was probably 20 years ago, $10,000. It's $200 at Walmart now. They produce a better TV with less. That's not what the Secret Service did. They produced less with more. They were given more money and produced less. A 20-year-old criminal
Bongino
outsmarted them on a $40 drone technology piece of device. You're telling me that's more with less? That's disgusting. That's nothing with less. That's less with more. Their budget went up. You guys know, you're appropriators. You know that. Third, and I'll wrap it up with this, turn it over to Mr. Prince. The investigative mission, the Secret Service, that they're telling you they need to make them better agents is total crap. That's garbage. Their agents are talented, smart people. They can figure out how to do protection without running out cheap $20 counterfeit notes at 7-Eleven on a Friday night while the president's getting shot in the head. How is it we have a DEA, we have an FBI, we have TIGTA, the IRS, CBP, and 1,000 other entities with a $6 trillion budget, which I know a lot of you have been fighting against this grotesque spending. $3 billion goes to the Secret Service, and we're wasting time running out counterfeit notes.
The Secret Service began checking out counterfeit money. You need to make sure there's not counterfeit money going around the world. I thought, when were we going to get them Tubmans? God damn, that fucking Biden didn't do a fucking thing, did he?
Serious problem.
You think we're going to get them Tubmans, them $20 Tubmans soon under this administration?
Counterfeiting. Granted, it might be a legacy item. They started doing counterfeiting. That's not what we do now. Get rid of the investigative mission, turn it over to other people, let them do what they do best and should do best. Protection. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you for doing this. Thanks to the panelists as well and everyone attending. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Dan Bongino. So there you go. That's the new Deputy FBI Secretary, Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino to the rescue. Have no fear. Dan Bongino is here.